Welcome, everyone. We are the many. We are grateful to be with you, and we're grateful to be collaborating with our friends in the BTS Center in this online series of Laments with Earth.
Spring is beginning here in Chicago, a season for resurrection, new beginnings, a time Matthew Fox calls via transformativa, when we're reminded of our calling to be partners in transformation with God and with creation. Earth aches for us to wade into the waters of transformation with her, our world war-torn and tired from this pandemic, from scarcity and fear, cries out for rivers that flow with the fresh water of change.
Water will be the focus for our reflection and lament tonight, and we hope you'll gather with us in any way that's comfortable for you. And feel free to share your prayers in the chat or comments. We invite you now to join with us in turning once again to our Creator God in spirit and in truth, to look for hope and healing for our world and for ourselves. Let's begin by breathing together.
Come in and breathe. Come in and just be. Breathe. Breathe. If you need to pray, if you need to weep, wherever you are, whatever you need, come in and just be. Come in and just breathe.
A reading from Genesis 1. When God began to create the heavens and the earth, it was dark over the deep sea, and God's wind swept over the waters. There was nothing there at the beginning, except water. Water was there, beginning us, beginning everything. Because water is life. We don't live without it. We are water, and we are thirsty.
You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you, I thirst for you. In a dry and parched land, we are thirsty. For water, yes, absolutely. And yet also for so many other things. We gather here because we're thirsty. For you, God, and for love, hope, justice, peace, mercy, thirsty for answers, for fixes, for a world where there's enough to go around, for a world where water flows for all of us, like grace, always the right amount for all of us.
Things are broken here, things are shared. Things are carried here, hearts bow in prayer. And it is grace, only grace, that brings us here, holds us together here. It is grace, only grace, that brings us here, holds us all together here, all together here.
Every year the island is a little less. Look, my father would tell us. Can you see where the waves reach? One day all of this will sink beneath the sea. Standing in front of the ocean as a child, then a teenager and then an adult, I was always possessed of the feeling of potent destruction contained in the waves, in the enormity of what was to come. With the rising seas and temperatures, this moment now urged on by human folly will come too soon. There was a moment when it did come, when a tsunami overpowered the island. I take a boat ride out to the town I'm visiting. After the impact of the tsunami of 2004, Sri Lanka became the first country to protect its mangrove forests. These ancient mangroves are legally protected due to their carbon-storing superpowers and for the lives that thrive within their roots. As our boat travels through, I see monkeys, herons, gulls, even a monitor lizard. But emerging from within the mangrove and into the marina, I'm distracted by the brightly colored skirt around the edges of it. On a closer look, it is the imprint of another animal, of the debris of lunch parties, lazy days by the beach of holidays. I point to it and ask the boatman, "What is this? This is protected. Doesn't the council clean it?" Yes, weekly, sometimes monthly, but the waste from the beaches is pulled out with the tide and it gathers at the roots and it stays there. You have to stop the litter on the beach. All at once I see the island sinking under a wave of detritus, a swirl of brightly colored papers festooned with a plethora of names. Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Heinz, Cargill's, Cadbury. What, then, is theology for an island where rising seas mean furious deaths? Where the beaches choke with plastic and paper and glass? Where manufactured port cities add to rising heat? There is a need, here and globally perhaps, for a theology of weeping, or for weeping to form the focus of our prayers. Weeping as a decolonizing action. In grief and in mourning we become unsettled and begin to rethink the world as we know it.
A reading from Psalm 137. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, and there we wept.
Waters
you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on?
There's a woman who's lost her child, and a man who's lost his way. There's a boy who's keeping it inside, and a girl who cannot pray.
Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on? We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone?
There's a man who says he cannot breathe, and another with a gun. There's a family who's left everything, just exiled on the run.
Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? Why have you forsaken us? How can we go on? We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. Why have you forsaken us? Where have you gone? There's a man forsaken on a cross, body broken in two. There's a God hanging on a cross who feels it all too, crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too, crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too, crying with us, dying with us, praying with us, holding us too. We search for your face, search for your grace. We want to follow your way. We want to follow your way.
Because of climate change, we live in a world where extreme flooding and extreme droughts are more and more a reality. Water already underpins every issue people in poverty face, and though most of us don't see it or feel it as much personally, what's going on with water in our world is not something we can ignore anymore. Whether we see it or not, this water crisis is right outside our doors. Of course, if we're aware of it, just to get through the day, we mostly try not to worry about it too much. We try to tell ourselves it can't be that bad. But when we look at the facts, it's hard to have hope. Despair sits within us like a rock, heavy and hard.
It doesn't seem like we have much time left. The water which gives us life, the water we have taken for granted, may be the death of us. Because we are drowning and we are dying of thirst.
And we feel forsaken by our leaders, by corporate greed, by our own desire for comfort at any cost. We are drowning and we are dying of thirst. And we feel forsaken by God too. Like the people by the river of Babylon, all we can do is sit down by the water and weep and mourn for all that we've lost.
We invite you in the next few moments to share the losses and sorrows for our earth that are sinking you like stones. Feel free to share your laments and confessions in the chat. At the end of each lament, one of us will say, "Oh God, we are drowning and we are dying of thirst." And we invite all of you to respond. Hear our cries.
O God, we cry out to you for a world that's underwater more and more each day, drowning in too much water, from floods that devastate and destroy homes and lives and habitats of millions and millions and millions of your creation, plants, animals, people. O God, we are drowning and we are dying of thirst. Hear our cries.
O God, we cry out to you for this climate-changed world where the rains don't come and the crops dry up and the number of refugees of rain scarcity grows. We cry out for a world where there is less and less water to go around and where water is quickly becoming more precious than most people will be able to afford. And we don't know what to do to fix it. O God, we are drowning and we are dying of thirst. Hear our cries.
Oh God, sometimes it's hard for those of us who can turn on a faucet and find clean, drinkable water so easily to imagine all the people who suffer and die daily from unsafe water. To take in the fact that a child dies every 21 seconds from water-related disease. God, we cry out for them, and we cry out for the women and girls who around the world bear most of the burden of collecting water, a difficult and dangerous task that keeps them from earning a living, starting a business, or going to school. Oh God, we are drowning and we are dying of thirst. Hear our cries.
Oh God, we've created a world where our oceans and rivers and streams are toxic, where the plastic we can't seem to live without is taking so much more than it gives, where we're fracking ourselves to death, where chemicals pour into water that's meant to sustain us, and our life-giving water becomes life-taking. And God, we confess we've all had a part in harming this creation you've given us, and we feel powerless to stop it. Forgive us for the despair that tells us to look the other way. O God, we are drowning and we are dying of thirst. Hear our confessions and our cries.
I had the privilege of serving at the First Presbyterian Church of Beacon from 2010 to 2020, and Beacon is Pete Seeger's hometown. I had heard before moving there about the sloop Clearwater and how Pete had a vision to create this traditional wooden Hudson River sloop and invite people to get on the water, experience the taste of the beauty of the boat and the power of nature, and that it would inspire them to get that river cleaned up. You know, one of my first weeks there, I went to a meeting of the Beacon Sloop Club, and there was Pete. And when I introduced myself, he walked right up to me and said, "Hey, I remember your predecessor. You need to organize the clergy in Beacon." And it took a while. It took several years, in fact. And actually it took kind of his efforts. He really had a vision. He helped unite the clergy. And it was really towards the end of his life. So I'm super grateful for Pete's work and for just this image of, I heard stories of what it used to be like, things floating on it occasionally, fires burning. The Hudson River, it really became for me a source of rejuvenation. And I spent so much time in prayer kind of along the shores of the Hudson. And often when I was out there, I would see the Clearwater taking folks out and giving them a taste of the beauty of creation and the importance of taking care of what we've been given.
Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are
When we let ourselves see it and really feel the immensity of damage that's been done to the water on this planet, it's often easy to decide that it's already too late, and like nothing we do can make a difference. It's hard to remember that transformation does happen. It's happening already, like Ben's story reminded us.
Perhaps what we need most right now is a baptism of hope. And maybe the way to do that is by immersing ourselves in the deep waters of gratitude and remembering the God who parted seas and brought water out of stones. And also remembering the committed individuals and organizations out there who are working every day to save our planet and to save our water.
We invite you to share your gratitude for people and places where good things are happening and where you're finding hope and healing for the water in our world. Let's begin.
Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you sail in me.
May the God who is always and forever with us and for us fill us with hope, help us believe it's not too late, and on this earth awash in hurt, fear, and despair, show us how to be love. As we close, we invite you to say this with us. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone.
Hey friends, you're invited to hang out with us on Zoom or to just say hello or continue in conversation. There will be a link in the chat. And as always, we thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your heart, your compassion, and your care for the earth. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Bye.
Thanks so much for being with us. Blessings to you.
Our prayers and blessings go out to you. Thanks so much for sharing this moment with us.
Go in peace and blessings on your evening and on the rest of this Earth Month.
Hey everybody, glad you could be with us tonight. I'm so grateful for your presence here. Peace and blessings to you all.
Many blessings and refreshings.
Go with grace and love, and may God bring you into the fullness of who you are called to be this week.